They know we was going to come. They knew ahead of time, way ahead of time. We told the whole world was going to do it. They should have got out of the way.
That's a scene from This Ain't No Heartland. It's a new documentary. It tries to criticize the war in Iraq by using interviews with Americans who support it. The film was made by an Austrian filmmaker by the name of Andreas Horvath. He went to rural middle America, the heartland, where he finds a lot of people who are wary of terrorism and foreigners in general. One person in the movie admitted to calling the cops on the filmmaker, fearing that he was a terrorist. We're talking now about the movie with Christian Science Monitor film critic David Sterritt. David, as always, good to see you. Here's what you wrote about the film. I want to start off by quoting you. What emerges most strongly is a staggering degree of ignorance among everyday Americans about the basic meanings of democracy, liberty, and national security. In what ways, David?
Yeah, I guess I put it pretty strongly there, but I think it's really deserved. To put it maybe a bit more diplomatically, the movie, I think, really demonstrates that among at least an enormous number of Americans, there's a great deal of, let's call it, under-knowledge or something. Yeah. It's not total ignorance. They know that things are going on out there, but there's a tremendous amount of not really caring about understanding not just the nuances, but even the basic facts of things. And there's also a tremendous apathy. There's a sense that we know one or two things, and that's really all you need to know. And after that, well, you just do what you got to do. Right. Which I find very disturbing, because I think democracy depends on informed people making informed choices.
But isn't what's more disturbing is the following fact. The filmmaker himself is a notorious provocateur, and in fact, he scoured the Midwest looking for, as you point out, the most ill-informed people he could possibly find. Then he shoves a camera in their faces. Is there art or honesty in doing that?
Well, certainly not everybody in the movie is anti-war or anti-Bush or anything else. In fact, there's quite a bit of footage with a Republican operative in the Midwest who speaks very articulately and is allowed to seem like a very nice guy and a very articulate guy, and he's not alone. Horvath is clearly making this movie from his own point of view. Right. And there have been a whole wave of documentaries recently, and more are still coming. Michael Moore,
Fahrenheit 9/11, right? I mean,
yes.
It doesn't pretend to be fair or accurate.
Exactly, and I think one of the reasons why movies like this are being made, and we're seeing mostly movies by American filmmakers, Andreas Horvath, of course, is from Austria, is that people feel they have something to say. They feel that there's an aspect of America's relationship with the world, a relationship with terrorism, a relationship with Iraq, etc., that isn't getting out there, and they don't think they're going to get a fair crack at cable TV or broadcast TV or talk radio or even most of the print media. So they make a movie and they pray they can get it into theaters, and they pray they can get it into the DVD shelves.
And here's another clip that I think is nicely making the point you're making. Let's listen to it and we'll react.
They need to get rid of some of them people, I know, because there's no use, it's going to be a terroristic world from now on, in my opinion.
Meaning what?
Well, there's going to be like the World Trade Center. There's going to be stuff like that happening all the time,
What do you think, David? Is it even fair to call this a documentary in the traditional sense of that word, or maybe a more accurate description could be hatchet job, smear campaign?
Well, I mean, you set up a series of choices there, and maybe none of them is ideal.
Is it a documentary?
Yeah. I mean, documentary is a term that has a lot of different meanings, and there have been, by the way, documentaries with faked material and staged material and reenacted material, which, by the way, I'm not accusing this film of, but going back to the days of silent film. So the idea that a documentary is truth, and then anything that I don't think is truth is just propaganda or smear campaigns. Right. It's all a spectrum, and we'll all place each of these movies on that spectrum. I think the test of a movie's honesty and character is whether the movie lets us know where it's coming from. And Andreas Horvath makes he leaves no doubt about where he is coming from. And so we can easily imagine how he selected and why he chose to interview the people that he chose to interview.
David, thank you. I'm afraid we're out of time. David Sterritt, film critic, Christian Science Monitor. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good to be here.